When you look at the top teams in Spiral Abyss, you're gonna realize something. Ayaka is more popular than Ganyu, which is really surprising since Ganyu is supposed to be the quote-unquote top tier best DPS in the game. So another crowd DPS has seemed to replace Ganyu in Spiral Abyss. But why is that? Maybe it's because Ayaka is actually stronger than Ganyu as a DPS. Well, let's find out. First of all, when you compare the two, you're gonna realize something. Ayaka's burst is insanity. Ayaka's burst probably has the highest damage per second. It's probably the highest damage per second burst in the entire game. But you compare that to Ganyu. Ganyu has a charge shot with 630% scaling with no cooldown. Her charge shot scaling is as high as some people's elemental burst scaling. So when you compare those two, it's kind of hard to see which one's better. But another thing I should mention is Ayaka's burst has a 4000% scaling as far as I know. So when you compare these characters on the basic level, it's hard to pick who's better. It really is. I'm sure some theory crafter figured out who's better through mathematical equations, but I'm not that try hard about it, okay? If we compare them on a general level, I honestly think they're more or less equals. I don't think Ayaka is any weaker than Ganyu, but I don't think Ganyu is any weaker than Ayaka. They both have their pros and cons, better in other situations. I think that, yeah, I honestly think damage-wise, they're equals. So if they're equal damage-wise, why in the hell is Ayaka more popular than Ganyu? Like, by a pretty big margin, as far as I know. Ganyu's pick rate has been dropping for a while, and Ayaka's is been it's probably, I think she's the most picked DPS in the game right now. Her and Hu Tao, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think that's about right. Anyways, I think there is a reason why Ayaka's replaced Ganyu. It's not what you guys expect. First of all, I should acknowledge one thing. Ayaka is just easier to play than Ganyu. I think everyone's aware of that. Melee characters like Ayaka are just easier to play and you have to think less. Ganyu, she's a charge shot user, a bit of a slower playstyle. You have to dodge attacks better or use a shield character. So that probably plays a part in that. But I think one thing people forget to acknowledge is Ganyu's nearly a year old and she hasn't been re-released. Most people that have Ganyu have had her for a year now, almost a year at least, right? So for the players that own Ganyu and got Ayaka, which I think is actually quite a few players, I don't think they're gonna use Ganyu anymore because, well, they've had Ganyu for a year. Why would you use the old kid on the block as your main DPS when you can use the new shiny character? I think when Ganyu rerun comes, I can honestly see her pick rate going up, skyrocketing, because, well, the people that would have Ganyu then are going to be people that actually want to use her now. Like, even me, I'm starting to get bored of using Ganyu, and I'm a Ganyu main. It's like she's been out for a year, so I think people are expecting too much from her. Someone's going to replace her, and since Ayaka's on par with Ganyu DPS wise, people just gravitate towards Ayaka because Ayaka is easier to play, and because, well, Ayaka is just a newer character, just a more fresh and polished character, you could even say. So yeah, that's the video. This is why I think Ayaka replaced Ganyu in Spiral Abyss, and I'm predicting that once Ganyu rerun happens, Ayaka is not going to be the most picked cryo DPS. I think Ganyu's pick rate is going to skyrocket because players that actually want to use her are going to have her, and she's going to be the new kid for a lot of people on their accounts, or the new character. Anyways, If you enjoyed this short video, consider leaving a like. If you really enjoyed it, consider subscribing. Bye guys.